Bro, do you remember X-Men 3, X-Men United, when Magneto actually lifted up the Golden Gate Bridge, moved it over the Alcatraz and said,
Charles always wanted to build bridges.
but do you also remember in Spider-Man 3 when Spider-Man had the black suit on fighting 1v1 versus Sandman and put his face into the train as it was passing by?
Good riddance.
Just this past weekend, I saw Tron Ares and motorcycle chase through the city. The solid light beam was coming from the back of the bike and split the cop car in half. It was absolutely incredible. It's the first time we ever saw the Tron inventions and characters actually hit the real world. You know what all three of those moments have in common? The bridge lift, the Spider-Man fight, and the chase scene throughout the streets in the Tron universe. They're all bright spots in otherwise terrible movies. They're also coming behind two movies before them that were actually pretty good. Tron Ares follows in the tradition of the awful third movie in the trilogy. This is not a fun thing for me to say because for the first time ever, last week, I watched the first Tron, then I watched Tron Legacy, literally finished it in the theater while I was waiting for Tron Ares to start. And then Tron Ares started and ended, and I said, that's unfortunate. Like all three Tron movies, there's something really cool in the beginning that gets you locked in. And then towards the middle, it kind of loses you a little bit. At the end, it wins you back. With all the glitz and glam and the absolutely amazing visual effects, this movie looks incredible. And with the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack, it sounds incredible. It has those two things going for it. What it doesn't have going for it, though, is an actual story that I care about. We spend way too much time in the real world and not nearly enough time in the digital world. We came here to see the games, which are often the most interesting thing in these Tron movies, but are often the shortest thing in these Tron movies, which is really frustrating because if one of these movies would just turn into like an anime style tournament arc where they just continue to do games all the way up until they win and they get to the final boss, it will be really fun. But unfortunately, they keep going back to the same well, finding this device that is going to set everybody free and trying to prevent the digital world from coming into the real world. I call this movie Soulless because it removes all the things that we loved about the first two movies and just pushes it to the side without any real good, satisfying explanation. The son of Flynn, Sam Flynn, from the second movie, who was an awesome character, he's just, oh, he disappeared, he went somewhere else. Okay, now who do I follow? You remove one of the key components that Sam helped introduce in the second movie, which is the fact that programs could come to the real world and live. And Tron Ares, the programs that we created, once they come into the real world, only last for about 29 minutes. What happened when the girl from the first one came into the digital world? Did she just die after 29 minutes and that's why Sam is gone? Are they retconning that? What we were told in the second movie is that once Clue finds a way to get to the real world, he can send a whole invasion and take over the real world. They said nothing about any programs disintegrating after 29 minutes. The first two movies are great and you have characters that you buy into, and all these characters have soul, even the digital ones. We have Jared Leto as the lead here. He did nothing for me. His soulless portrayal of this machine, granted this machine doesn't have a lot of emotions, lacked any kind of gravitas at all. Ares is basically a super soldier who was created by the tech billionaire who tells Ares you are expendable. And of course, Ares within 24 hours is like, yeah, it seems like I'm going to betray you. It seems like I don't have a long-term value here. I guess this was the writer's heavy-handed way of saying that once you tell somebody that they're not valued somewhere, they will proceed as if you don't value them. But if I don't care about the betrayer or the person being betrayed, I don't care about anything that has to do with this. So now I'm just sitting here looking at this screen in IMAX 3D, which looked nice, but who cares? Eve is a woman who, along with her sister, took over the corporation and is now trying to use the information that Flynn and others have built up over the years to help improve the world. Of course, there's an evil corporation who wants to stop that. And in this situation, it's led by Evan Peters, who's trying to find that exact same technology to help bring the living programs into Earth so that he can have an army that he can sell to the highest bidder. Unfortunately for the character Eve, they saddled her with a comic relief that was never funny. He kept making jokes and none of them landed. It's like if you had Louise from the Ant-Man movies, but he wasn't funny, and it only got worse when Jared Leto came on the scene because now they're bouncing his stoic uninterestingness versus his need to be funny. And so it's just a mix of uninteresting, unfunny, no swag, no gravitas having characters that we are told we're supposed to care about. The brightest part of this movie from a performance perspective is actually Jodie Turner-Smith, who plays Athena. Athena is another one of Evan Peters' characters, digital super soldiers. Unlike Ares, she's like, oh no, we not doing no betrayal. We have an order, we gonna follow it. And she does such a great job of playing this stoic Terminator type character. She has the juice, the gravitas, the everything that you want to follow about a character in this film. There's nobody nearly as interesting as her in this movie doing anything nearly as cool as her. In the climax of the movie, Athena's leading the charge, one of the big square recognizer things that goes and chases its enemies. It was cool as hell to see it in the real world. It was awesome. That's basically where it stops with the things on Earth that are awesome. Some people may say like, yo, Kenny, why are you being so hard on it? Tron was not that serious in the first place. Don't insult my intelligence. You're talking to me like Fast X is nearly as good as Fast 5, and we know that's a lie. Even when movies come from silly franchises, there are still good versions and there are still bad versions. And unfortunately, this is a bad version. I hope the Tron 4 sequel that they were setting up in the post-credit scene actually gets created and is way better than what we got in Tron Ares. All I know is that Tron Ares was a huge disappointment for me. This is Spider-Man 3, this is X3, The Last Stand, a bunch of cool moments in an otherwise terrible movie.